flat earthers are potentially creating a new generation of total morons. It's wrong and it has to stop.
Go nuts on my nuts.
Okay then, how are you? I hope you're well. So, what was that? What's this? Oh, it's just my new Creaky Blinder t-shirt available in my Teespring store. Link is in the description. But today's video is about the flat earth nonsense, but from a slightly different viewpoint. Now, if you've been here before, you will have seen me rip into flat earthers because I've made no secret of the fact that I think they are the most ridiculous human beings that walk the face of the earth. The young lady in today's video, I actually have a certain amount of sympathy for her because she proves better than anyone I've come across so far why I think my thoughts about how dangerous the whole concept of a flat earth is pretty accurate. So stick around and we will check it out together. Tidy!
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So from the title you can see that this is not my usual video. This is going to be a video based on the flat earth theory. I myself am not a flat earther, but I just find the theory really
stupid, because that's what you should find it, because that's exactly what it is. Now, this young lady only started her channel a month ago, and I'm just gonna look to see what she's done. She started off with Primark haul, or Primark, depending on where you're from in the world. Dyeing my hair pink, huge fail. DIY skincare products, then a vlog, and then this video, the flat earth theory, closely followed by the moon landing is a hoax.
There are some things which actually don't add up, and I just really enjoyed kind of like exploring the flat earth theory in order to provide a good video for you. I've always been interested in conspiracy theories.
Now allow me to interject just at this point. If you want to make good, entertaining videos, then please do not start making videos claiming that the earth is flat, because they're not entertaining, they're not funny, and they're dangerous, as you are proving really well right now. Now, don't misunderstand me, I'm not having a pop at this girl because she's young. I don't know, 16, 17 maybe, so she's very, very young, very impressionable, and possibly gullible. Well, not possibly, because she finds the flat earth theory interesting.
I am a conspiracy theory lover. I am a big, strong believer of not believing everything that you're told, to not believe everything which is on the news, on the media. And partly the reason that I'm doing this is Shane Dawson.
Now, I made a video about Shane Dawson about a year ago, this video here. And from a certain viewpoint, yeah, she's right. You shouldn't just believe anything you get told. You should look for your own evidence, your own proof. But YouTube isn't the place to do that. And with that being said, even if you were inclined to go looking for proof that the earth is flat, you wouldn't find any on YouTube or anywhere else, purely because, well, it isn't.
Shane Dawson was my favourite conspiracy theorist, but I don't support him anymore. And I just thought that the reason why I loved him so much was the conspiracy theory videos that he put out, so I just thought I might try to make my own.
See, this is what I'm saying, and this proves my point perfectly. She's emulating somebody she looked up to. So what I mean by that is, for example, if we'll say Nathan Thompson, if there are people watching him that look up to him and admire him, but if on the off chance there are people who admire Nathan Thompson, they will then parrot his nonsense, which is exactly what this young girl is doing with Shane Dawson. And Shane Dawson isn't a conspiracy theorist anyway. He's a views whore. He'll make a video about anything he knows will get watched. I hate people who make videos just for the views. What?
So the flat earth theory has been around for thousands and thousands of years. In the ancient Roman times, they did believe that the earth was flat. In the Egyptian periods, people believed that instead of the earth being like a globe, they thought that the earth was rather a flat mass floating on lots of water.
Right, we won't bother with debunking the Romans because that was thousands of years ago. They didn't know any better. And the Egyptians aren't a period of time, they're a race of people. But anyway, I digress. So they thought that the earth was just a mass of land floating on water. Okay, well let's look at that then. So where was the water? What, just hovering in space? Now the thing is, and I'm not saying this is the case with this girl, because as I've said, she is just repeating verbatim what she has heard other flat earth morons saying. But if you're going to make ridiculous claims, you've got to look at the overall, the bigger picture. To say that land was floating on water, now I know it's an ancient thought process, but really? The thing is, when you tell a lie, one small lie needs to be covered up with another lie, and then that lie needs to be covered up with another lie, and before you know where you are, everything you believe, everything that you think you know is all based on an initial lie, and it spirals out of control, which is why flat earthers are continuously tripping themselves up.
And in the Greek times, philosophers.
Right, now I know I said I wasn't going to pick on this girl, and I'm not. Don't panic. But what's a philosopher?
Such as Pythagoras and Thales.
Ah, philosopher. Right, got you now.
They believed in different versions of the same flat earth theory. So I guess you're probably thinking, what is the evidence which is so compelling that people in 2020 still believe that the earth is flat?
Yeah, I ask myself that every single time I come across a new flat earther. And I've got my own theory on why there are people in 2020 that claim to believe the earth is flat. Yeah, exactly that. They're doing it for the money, the ad revenue, the spondulics. They'll say anything you want them to say if they're getting paid to do so. And they call us shells. Yeah, good one.
So let me tell you. So like I said, the flat earth theory has developed over centuries, and the most common theory is that the earth is in fact not a globe but rather a disc with North Pole in the centre, and instead of Antarctica being kind of like a continent, it's rather a large wall of ice which I believe is 150 foot just around the earth, which stops us from like floating off or going over the other side.
Right, now she said something a few seconds ago that I never really thought much about. So let's imagine, let's remove ourselves from normality, and let's imagine that the giants that dug out the Grand Canyon to make the moon, hi flat earth Jesus, let's imagine they've shoved a straw up our noses and sucked our brains out, and explore what she said. So the Greek philosophers, or was it philosophers, believed in a different version of flat earth. So why is it that normal people who are not flat earthers, don't have different versions of the globe? The globe is just the globe because it's reality, and we all know this to be true. But flat earthers each have their, well, not each, but well, maybe it is each. They each have their own interpretation of what the flat earth is, and yet none of them are able to show any supporting evidence, photographic or otherwise. Now I wonder why that is. Could it possibly be because they know it isn't real, but they can't stop saying it because they don't want to be ridiculed even more than they are as flat earthers, and they certainly do not want to lose their source of income?
So why haven't people travelled to Antarctica to see this so-called ice wall for themselves? They have. Many people claim that they did try to explore Antarctica to see if this theory was true, but they were instead turned away by NASA.
Oh, for the love of... anything. This poor girl turned away by NASA. I personally wasn't aware that NASA had patrols in Antarctica.
And told that they would be either put in prison or shot and killed.
By somebody from NASA? Okay.
So let's talk about NASA for a second. NASA is one of the only space companies in the world.
Yeah, that's absolutely bang on, as long as you forget about the UK Space Agency, JAXA, CNES, the Indian Space Research Organisation, the Canadian Space Agency, the Italian Space Agency, the China National Space Administration, the South African National Space Agency, and so on and so forth.
So this means that every single picture of the spherical Earth was taken by NASA.
Does it now? Or does it mean that you've heard somebody else saying that every single photo of Earth is taken by NASA? Therefore, proving my point exactly.
Every single picture of the sun that we've seen, of the moon and the stars were taken by NASA. And all of the information that we get is from, you guessed it, NASA.
How can one person be wrong so many times in such a short amount of time? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Think about what you're saying. What you're saying is nobody anywhere in the world has ever been able to take a picture of the sun, the moon, the stars, apart from NASA. Just think about it. You could do that yourself. Go out into your garden tonight when it's dark, point your smartphone at the moon, and take a picture. That picture wouldn't have been taken by NASA. It would have been taken by you.
But can we trust NASA? A very common theory is that the moon landing was in fact faked. It was not real. I have actually got quite strong feelings of the moon landing, but that is for another day.
Well, no, it's not for another day. It's for another video, isn't it? Just say what it is, because your very next video was a video claiming that the moon landing was hoaxed. And we've covered that before, so boring.
But millions and millions of people do think that the moon landing was faked.
Well, finally, something we can agree on. Yes, there are millions of people who think the moon landing was faked. And those millions of people all have one thing in common. They're wrong.
The actual footage of the moon landing was lost. Lost. So let me just take it back to you and explain what that means.
No, you're alright. I think even us stupid globers know what lost means.
The camera which was on top of the spacecraft, which was recording live to homes across the world, they were not actually seeing the footage which was coming straight from the spacecraft, and this is because the pixelation of the TVs back in the 1960s meant that they were not able to broadcast it live. So instead what they did is that they put the live recording on a big screen at the NASA headquarters, and they had a professional camera crew filming the screen. Instead of it being like a live TV, they filmed the screen of it happening, which to me sounds like that could be easily faked anyway, but...
This poor child. Now, I hate reading. I don't like to read, but sometimes even I have to, because that's how you find information out, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So I'm getting this information from the Science and Media Museum.
2, 1, 0, all engine running.
Receiving the signal. After successfully landing on the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were supposed to sleep for a few hours. They couldn't wait and requested to exit the lunar module ahead of schedule. This changed the plans and meant that the Honeysuckle Creek tracking station in Australia was in perfect position to relay the first few minutes of the transmission. Goldstone Observatory in California was also receiving the signal, but the picture was grainy and hard to make out. At the last second, NASA switched from Goldstone to honeysuckle for the world broadcast. The Parkes radio telescope dish in Australia began transmitting once it was able to have line-of-sight contact with Apollo 11. The picture was uploaded to Earth-orbiting satellites, then transmitted back to NASA's Manned Space Flight Center at Houston, and via further satellite syncs to TV receiving centers around the world. I'm sure I just said syncs instead of links, but you get the idea. So, again, no. Just look this information up. It's so easy to find. But in order to give her the benefit of the doubt and maybe help her justify her misunderstanding, I did find this on the Science and Media History website from a guy called Mark Wrigley on recording the moon landing from his television in 1969. You couldn't record on a VHS or simply pause the television like you can now. I set up a camera on a tripod to record the television screen and a tape recorder to catch the audio. I did the best I could with what was available. So, is that maybe what her and other flat earthers are referring to when they say what she just said?
So the images of the Earth that NASA put out every single year is not one picture. It is not someone flying so far out that they can get a really good view and take a picture and then like fly back.
Yeah, well, I think we all know where this is going, don't we? But I will allow her to finish.
It instead is loads of images compiled together to make a globe. This is because there's no possible way of taking a picture of more than 3% of the world at the same time. And this is proven because if you look at pictures of the Earth, their cloud formations repeat, and this is where they've taken a picture of Earth and then the clouds have obviously like flown over, they've moved.
So, your point is, go and put a football or a basketball on your kitchen table, and again, get your smartphone and see if you can take a picture of it all the way around without moving your camera. Because the famous line that all flat earthers cling on to for dear life, it's Photoshop because it has to be, well, that's why it has to be, not because they're trying to make something flat look like a ball.
So in the 1950s, a treaty was signed by all major countries to not allow anyone into Antarctica, which really makes you think why.
Well, it shouldn't make you think why really, especially as you just flashed a graphic on the screen explaining exactly why. Basically, all the treaty was to keep the military out of Antarctica and keep it free from international discord unless it was for scientific purposes. So essentially all the treaty does is make Antarctica a scientific preserve. So there's no need to wonder why. You can read the treaty and see why.
There's another reason why people aren't allowed to go there, and I think we all need to know why.
Look, I didn't want to let you in on this secret, but I can tell you exactly why people don't want to go to Antarctica. It's because it's bloody freezing there. Thanks for watching, everybody. I feel like I've made my point. Sorry I went on a little bit longer than I usually do in this video, but there we go. If it is your first time here, don't forget to give the video a like, hit the subscribe button, turn on bell notifications, all that other good stuff. I'm the Creaky Blinder, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.